The restaurant was alive with the gentle hum of laughter, the clinking of glasses, and the soft notes of a violin playing in the corner. Candles flickered on each table, casting golden light across polished cutlery and carefully folded napkins. To everyone else, it was an ordinary evening, filled with chatter and celebration. To me, it was the night everything changed. I pushed my glass of wine away, my heart pounding so loudly that I swore it drowned out the music. My husband, Daniel, sat across from me, his eyes full of expectation. He thought we were there to celebrate our anniversary, a moment to look back at years of marriage built on promises and compromises. He had even ordered the dessert I loved most, something that should have melted my heart. Instead, I felt nothing but the unbearable weight of truth pressing against my chest. When I finally spoke, my voice trembled but grew louder with every word. IT will be a one-time affair. Just one night with the man I've dreamed of my whole life. The restaurant fell silent. Forks froze midair, conversations cut off, and dozens of eyes turned toward us. Daniel's hand, which had been reaching across the table toward mine, stiffened. The hurt that flooded his face was so raw it nearly shattered me. But I had already stood up, my chair scraping loudly against the floor. With trembling legs, I turned and left the restaurant, leaving my husband and every shocked stranger behind. Outside, the cool night air slapped my cheeks. I pressed my hands to my chest as if trying to steady the storm inside me. What I had done wasn't impulsive. It had been simmering for years. For as long as I could remember, I had carried a shadow in my heart, a dream of someone who wasn't Daniel, someone I had once loved with every fiber of my being before life tore us apart. His name was Adrian. We met when we were young, full of fire and dreams. He had been the kind of man who could silence an entire room with nothing but his smile. He made me believe in forever. But fate is cruel, and circumstances pushed us in different directions. I married Daniel, not because I didn't love him, but because Adrian was gone, moved away, unreachable, swallowed by distance and time. Daniel was kind, stable, reliable. He gave me safety, a home, and loyalty. But he had never been Adrian. For years, I buried the ache, convincing myself I had made the right choice. And maybe I had. But then, 3 months ago, I saw Adrian again. A reunion by chance, in a bookstore of all places. His hair was touched with silver now, his smile gentler, his eyes carrying stories untold. The moment our eyes met, the world around us faded. My heart, dormant for years, sprang alive as if it had just been waiting for him. We only spoke for 15 minutes that day, but it was enough. Enough to awaken the longing I had hidden from even myself. Enough to remind me that no matter how much time had passed, no matter the life I had built with Daniel, a part of me still belonged to Adrian. And so tonight, in front of everyone, I had chosen to break the silence, to break Daniel's heart, to break my own. I walked the city streets aimlessly, each step heavier than the last. My phone buzzed with Daniel's calls, but I couldn't bring myself to answer. I knew what he would say, the pain in his voice I couldn't bear to hear. Guilt gnawed at me, but so did something else, relief. For the first time, I had spoken my truth aloud. By midnight, I found myself outside Adrian's apartment. I hadn't planned it. Or maybe I had, somewhere deep inside. The building lights glowed warmly, and I stood there frozen, wondering if I was about to destroy everything beyond repair. My marriage, my dignity, my future. All for one night. One dream. One chance to feel alive again. I didn't ring the bell. Instead, I turned away, tears burning my eyes. I wasn't ready, not yet. The next morning, Daniel was waiting for me at home. He sat at the kitchen table, his untouched coffee gone cold. The moment I walked in, the silence wrapped around us like chains. His eyes were bloodshot, but his voice was calm, too calm. "Why?" he asked simply. I wanted to explain, to tell him about Adrian, about the emptiness I had been carrying, about the hunger for something I could never find with him. But how could I say any of that without tearing him apart? He didn't deserve this. He had given me his best years, his faith, his unwavering devotion. And here I was, confessing to wanting someone else. "Because I can't keep living a lie," I whispered. Daniel laughed bitterly, shaking his head. "A lie? Was our whole marriage a lie to you? No, I said quickly, rushing forward. It wasn't. I love you, Daniel. But it's different. You've always been safe, steady. But I've never stopped loving him. And when I saw him again, my voice cracked. Something inside me woke up. He stared at me for a long time, his face hardening. So you're telling me I was never enough? That all these years, I was just second place to a ghost? Tears spilled down my cheeks. No. You were my reality. He was my dream. I never thought the two would collide again. Silence stretched between us, suffocating. Daniel finally stood, his chair scraping back. His shoulders slumped, as though I had stolen the very strength from his body. Then go to him. If that's what you want, if one night is worth more than everything we've built, go. His voice broke on the last word. And for the first time in years, I saw Daniel cry. It crushed me. The days that followed were a blur. Friends whispered, neighbors stared, and I became the subject of gossip. I stopped answering calls, stopped leaving the house. Inside me, a war raged between the love I had for Daniel and the desire I carried for Adrian. Both were real, both powerful, and both tearing me apart. Adrian reached out. A message, simple. I heard what happened. Are you okay? I stared at the screen for hours before replying. No, but I don't know if I ever will be. We met again, quietly this time, away from watchful eyes. He held me as I cried, listened as I poured out the chaos in my heart. Being with him felt like coming home and running away all at once. He whispered that he had never stopped loving me, that he too had lived with the ache of what we had lost. And yet, in his arms, I felt the ghost of Daniel's tears. Weeks turned into months. Daniel moved out. He couldn't stay in the same house, surrounded by memories of us. Our friends took sides, some condemning me, others saying I had the right to choose my happiness. But happiness, what was it anymore? I had thought Adrian would complete me, that being with him, even for one night, would heal the emptiness. Instead, it deepened. Because the truth was, love is never simple. It's not about choosing dreams over reality, or passion over loyalty. It's about sacrifice, compromise, forgiveness. And I had broken all of that. One evening, I sat alone in the house that used to be ours. The silence was unbearable. I thought of Daniel, his quiet laugh, the way he always left notes in my lunchbox, the nights he stayed up when I was sick. He had given me love, not the burning, all-consuming kind I craved, but the steady kind that holds you together when everything else falls apart. And I had thrown it away. I did see Adrian again. We shared nights of laughter, conversations that stretched into dawn. But the guilt never left. Every smile, every kiss, carried the weight of betrayal. Adrian deserved all of me, but I couldn't give it, because a part of me still belonged to Daniel, no matter how broken we were. In the end, I realized that chasing a dream doesn't always bring peace. Sometimes, the dream is better left as a memory, untouched by reality. So I made a choice. I ended things with Adrian. Through tears, I told him I would always love him. But I couldn't keep living between two worlds. He understood. He held me one last time, kissed my forehead, and let me go. It's been a year since that night in the restaurant. Daniel and I are no longer together. He couldn't forgive me, and I don't blame him. But we've spoken, gently, about the life we once shared. There's pain, yes, but also respect. I see him sometimes in the park, walking alone, and I wonder if he's healing. As for me, I carry both loves inside me, the dream and the reality. I've learned that choices shape us, and some choices leave scars that never fade. That night, when I stood up and declared my desire in front of everyone, I thought I was chasing freedom. What I found instead was the cost of truth. Because sometimes, one night can change everything. Forever.